I still remember the announcement trailer for Chimera, and it was really well done, not gonna lie. Brought a very interesting hero into Paragon, and he's had an interesting position in Paragon ever since he was released. It's a bit of a tough hero to come up with a rework, as he was also kind of controversial. Let's see what I've come up with. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a hero rework idea video. I am Sylphin. A few things right off the bat. One, this in no way represents what Unleashed Games is going to do. This is just my ideas that I have bounced off of the community. Two, hero passives are coming back, so we have to come up with a hero passive for all these heroes. And three, I personally like quest mechanics. If you can perform a hero in a particular way that best suits their gameplay style, then your ability comes empowered after you successfully do that thing. Four, I believe each hero needs a strong gameplay niche style purpose within the hero roster in order to give them purpose. There has to be a reason for you to be in the draft lobby and go, aha, I need this hero in this team composition against this team composition because they're strong at this and not weak at this. Stuff like that. There has to be a reason for you to pick each and every hero over others in most scenarios. So, what is that for Chimera? It was tough. You know, he's naturally a sustain hero because of his passive, but he was so susceptible to just stuns and crowd control that he was never really meta, and he was kind of an easier target to play as long as you had as long as you positioned well and picked your fights well. I mean, he was a really tough hero. So to me, Chimera is a chasing jungle damage fighter. He really suits the jungle well with that sustain and with his ganking. So he's definitely a jungle hero. He's a jungler. And I believe he should be a damage fighter. Mainly does fighter stuff. He deals damage to chase people down. That is, I think, what best suits Chimera. Does have sustain, but he's not a bruiser, in my opinion. He shouldn't be a bruiser. He needs to be a fighter, at least in my opinion. So that is what we're going with this rework idea. He's a fighter. He's meant to deal damage, not an assassin, but a fighter that is meant to deal damage, that ultimately chases people and works best in the jungle. So what is that? How do we help him do that thing? Well, he was so susceptible to crowd control that he was really not very meta, unfortunately. So I wanted something that maybe could make him a little bit more viable. Listen to this passive. On basic attack, Chimera gains 2% crowd control reduction, stacking up to 20 times. So 40% crowd control reduction. The stacks last 1.5 seconds. So if you're crowd controlled for longer than 1.5 seconds, you lose the stacks because you're not basic attacking anything and you don't have that crowd control reduction. What if, whether the stack limit has to be 10 and 4%, 10 and 2%, forget the numbers. Just listen to the concept behind it and pretend that everything is balanced. Because, I mean, I'm not on the balance team, and we don't know we don't even know a lot of things. So forget the numbers, just care about the concept. On basic attack, Chimera gains crowd control reduction, stacking up to some time, lasts a little bit of a duration, but not too much, so you can actually get stunned out of it and controlled out of it. Basically, my idea was that Chimera should be able to absorb 1, maybe 2, but definitely 1 stun or something like that, if he has a good amount of stacks. That to me is kind of the purpose of that passive. So let's move on, because you're probably like, oh my goodness, he doesn't have health regen. Just hold on. Ambush. Chimera leaps to a targeted enemy, dealing damage and slowing by 15, 20, 25, 30% for 2 seconds. 6-second cooldown. I know it used to be 3, so maybe it can be 4 or 5, whatever. This does not stack, or this does stack the passive ability. We really tried to come up with a non-targeted ability. We really tried to make this a non-targeted ability, where Chimera leaps to a target location if, you know, has a 14-second cooldown, but if you deal damage to an enemy, the cooldown's reduced to 6. That still means that a Chimera can position poorly and at least have one escape, one leap to get out of bad positioning. And I thought that one escape, even if it's on a longer cooldown, completely wrecks Chimera's identity, wrecks his purpose. A Chimera, like, you have to position properly. You have to. He's an all-in berserker sort of a hero. When he goes in, that's it. You're committed. You are committed. I think if you change Ambush to a target location, even with a significantly reduced cooldown, you know, and then it's significantly reduced when you deal damage to an enemy, it still destroys, I think, his gameplay niche, his design. So we kept it a targeted enemy, but there's definitely a lot of just stick with me. His ambush is basically the same. Unleash. This is his Q. Chimera's Inner Beast is unleashed, empowering the next 5 basic attacks within 3 seconds. These attacks deal buffed, because he's now a fighter, basic attack damage, and have maximum attack speed. 9-second cooldown, or lower because he's a fighter, stuff like that. After attacking with all 5 basic attacks within 3 seconds on enemy heroes 15 times. So if you press your Q, use all of your 5 basic attacks on enemy heroes within 3 seconds of using your Q 15 times, basically you're using Unleash appropriately. All basic attacks within 3 seconds will benefit from maximum attack speed. So essentially you go from 5 basic attacks within 3 seconds have maximum attack speed to all basic attacks within 3 seconds have maximum attack speed. So if maximum attack speed is 4 a second, that means that you get 12 basic attacks, potentially 12 basic attacks at maximum attack speed instead of 5. That could be 2.5 seconds, all basic attacks within 2.5 seconds or something like that. You get the idea. After using Unleash appropriately on enemy heroes, then 15 times or however many times, then you gain just maximum attack speed for a certain duration. Be really, really cool. So you can deal mad damage. Pretty cool. Now his new ability. Check this new ability out. It's a toggle ability. Instead of gaining crowd control reduction, Chimera gains the health regen he used to per basic attack, stacking up to 20 times, just like his passive. Stacks last the same amount, but it's on an 8-second cooldown. What this doesn't do is keep the stacks of the other passive or whatever for that duration. So say you have 20 stacks of crowd control reduction, you're going to town, and then you switch to health regen stacks. Those 20 crowd control reduction stacks don't convert to health regen. They don't stick with you because you're basic attacking. They go away after 1.5 seconds. So essentially, you have to say, ugh, I really need health regen. So I'm gonna switch, lose that crowd control reduction, and start regenerating my health regen stacks. Basically, this means that you have some sustain instead of that crowd control reduction. You have options. This is where you can choose to start a fight gaining health regen stacks because you're low on health, or you think that the one-on-one's going to take a long time, or you know that other people are coming to help your enemy target, and you're gonna get counter ganked or something like that. I don't know. That was just an idea. It was just an idea. The health regen stacks probably would need to be a bit less than they were before, so that you're not as sustainy, as bruisery as before. And I forgot to mention that his health and armor scaling would be a little bit less than a bruiser, and definitely a tank, so he'd be a little bit less, just like the Kwang video I did just recently. So he'd be much more damage oriented, much less bruiser oriented. That's his hunger toggle ability. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Call, his ultimate, basically is the same thing. Chimera targets a single enemy, damaging and stunning them for a brief little moment for the animation to occur. All nearby enemy units within a small radius are pushed away from the target and are slowed much less than before for 2.5 seconds. This does stack the passive ability. It's basically the same, just that slow, the utility part of his kit is reduced across the board, across his whole kit. He's more damage oriented, but hopefully the crowd control reduction on his passive does help him keep him a little bit more relevant across the board, across all skill brackets. The hunger gives him options, right? Sustain in the jungle, perform his jungle role, and perform a little bit of a sustained role in fights, but due to his lower health and armor scaling, he's not going to be a bruiser. It is definitely not a tank, but you also have the crowd control reduction, so you can fulfill your damage role and survive at least, you know, one stun or something, and still keep your stacks, so that people have to go, aha, there's a Chimera. We really have to focus him. Two stuns layered, you know, spread out a little bit to prevent those stacks from going on and refreshing. Chimera's hard. He's hard. He's either, well, he's either complete menace in lower MMRs, or just kind of poopy. So he's hard. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. We had a lot of ideas for him. Let me know down in the comments. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it, share it with the community, guys. Of course, subscribe if you guys like this content or you want more. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you would like to see. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.